fought the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. I don't come for peace, I come for the storm. Fanboys melt quick when the truth gets warm. Saw content's high, I'm collecting those tears. Just got started, but I'm cutting through fears. I'm not here for brand deals, I'm not for sale. I expose your lies, rip off the veil.
The new Pokemon Legends ZA game is not looking good for sales, and honestly, that might be the nicest thing I can say about it. We're talking about a game so mid, so undercooked, so straight up factory produced, it makes microwave ramen look like fine dining. Pokemon Legends ZA was supposed to be this big, bold, open world reveal of Kalos, the grand return to X and Y era that fans begged for. And what did we get instead? A lifeless sandbox full of flat textures painted on windows, cardboard flowers, and an atmosphere so dead you could practically hear the budget screaming for mercy. Before we get into this video, please hit the like button and hype button as well, it really helps out small channels like mine. Now let's just rip the band-aid off right away. Game Freak, what an Arceus name were you thinking? You had one job. Make a Pokemon game that doesn't look like it was developed in a broom closet. You had the chance to finally show that you learned something from Scarlet and Violet's performance disasters, from Arceus' poppin' madness, from the 15 years of memes about Pokemon trees, but instead you gave us a $70 PowerPoint presentation with $30 DLC glued on top. Like, I didn't buy a next-gen console to play a game that looks like it was ported from a Nintendo DS emulator running on a toaster. And Nintendo, don't you sit there and act innocent. You published this. You marketed this. You hyped it up like it was the second coming of gold and silver, and you're still charging full prices for like it's the Mona Lisa of monster collecting. You had the audacity to slap a premium edition tag on this thing when it barely's premium enough to justify existing. You know it's bad when a fan-made Pokemon game's coded in someone else's college dorm room on a crack copy of RPG Maker had more love, more polish, and more personality than what your multi-billion-dollar empire just released. Let's talk numbers because this is where it really gets good. Sales for Pokemon Legends ZA are down 40% compared to Legends Arceus. 40%. That's not a little dip. That's not a stumble. That's a full-blown Wile E. Coyote running off a cliff situation. And you can't even spin that, oh, people just bought it digitally, because analysts literally said, nope, even with digital counted, it's still bad. This thing's flopping so hard, it's making Babylon's Fall look like a sleeper hit, and that's saying something. And you know what? They deserve it. Game Freak and Nintendo deserve this L, because they've been serving reheated leftovers for years, and now the customers are finally sending it back. Pokemon used to be magic. It used to be the event of the year. You lined up at midnight with your friends, traded secrets on who picked Charmander, and argued over which legendary was cooler. Now, you're lucky if the textures on the legendary even load before you beat the game. ZA feels like the first Pokemon title made entirely out of wishful thinking and expired assets. And yes, I know, the 40% down is coming from a country in Europe. The funniest part is they thought no one would notice. Like, oh well, just paint the windows onto the wall, no one cares. We'll make the flowers 2D, nobody's gonna zoom in. Bro, this is 2025. Every gamer on the planet is armed with a 4K capture card and a Twitter account. We notice everything. You can't hide the fact that your open world city has less interactivity than a PS2 cutscene. You can't brag about immersion when half your player base is falling through the floor. You can't market this as a next-gen Pokemon when the frame rate still looks like it's running on caffeine withdrawals. And don't even get me started on the story. I've read cereal boxes with more compelling narratives. You could replace the main character with a mop and nothing about the plot would change. Every dialogue scene feels like the developers held a gun to the scriptwriter's head and said, make it nostalgic, but not too nostalgic. Make it emotional, but not too emotional. And whatever you do, don't add voice acting, that's too expensive. It's like they made the entire game with a checklist label bare minimum to qualify as Pokemon. You know what the saddest part is? Pokemon doesn't even have to try anymore. And that's the problem. Game Freak knows they can ship out whatever half-finished product they want and the fanbase will line up like clockwork. You've got grown adults defending this like it's a religion. Well, actually, it's not that bad if you just ignore the bugs, the frame rate, the textures, the short map, the missing Pokemon, the lazy quest, and the overpriced DLC. Oh, thank you for that. Father Copa the Church of Game Freak, bless us with your wisdom. No man, that's not how this works. You can't call it good because you squinted hard enough to make it tolerable. The fanbase has become Game Freak's biggest enabler. It's like they're stuck in an abusive relationship where they keep saying they'll change next time. They promise. No, they won't. They haven't in a decade. You're giving them no reason to. You keep handing them $70 and saying, please disappoint me again. This isn't fandom, it's Stockholm Syndrome in 1080p. Let's talk about the map size because that's another comedy special on its own. Players are reporting you can run from one end of the region to another in 7 minutes. I've spent longer trying to find my car keys in the morning. 7 minutes of open world gameplay in a franchise that boosts exploration as its main hook. Skyrim laughs at this, The Witcher 3 laughs at this, even Breath of the Wild from the same company is probably sitting in the corner like, dude, really? This is embarrassing. And don't get me wrong, Pokemon doesn't need to look like Final Fantasy. It doesn't need to be photorealistic, but it does need to look like a game made this decade. There's a big difference between stylized and cheap. Z to A looks cheap, it feels cheap. You can tell when you walk through a city and an entire skyline looks like it was drawn from crayons and baked into the wall texture. There's no depth, there's no atmosphere, just a ghost of what the series used to be. You know what makes this worse? This is a $120 experience if you count the DLC and online. $100 for what? A shorter map, fewer Pokemon, and a story that could have been written by ChatGPT in 2017. Meanwhile, Genshin Impact, free game by the way, looks like a Pixar movie, runs smoother, and has more content. And I'm not even defending gacha mechanics here, I'm just saying when the free-to-play anime game is outclassing the world's biggest media franchise, something has gone terribly wrong. And that's the real kicker, Pokemon is the richest IP in the world, more than Marvel, more than Star Wars, more than Mario. They have infinite money. They could hire 10 studios and make a masterpiece every year. Instead, they hand a AAA franchise to a studio that struggles to get basic map working. It's like giving a Ferrari to a guy who still thinks horses are faster. Game Freak is that guy. You know who I actually feel bad for? The artists, the animators, the sound designers, the people at the bottom who actually care, because you can see hints of effort buried under all that corporate sludge. The soundtrack's still solid. Some of the monster designs, not bad. But when you surround those good bits with janky physics and half-rendered towns, it's like sprinkling gold dust on a pile of trash. It doesn't matter how nice it sparkles, it still smells. And I know some of y'all be saying, but it's still selling fine, it's #1 in the UK. Yeah, okay, for 3 days, but look deeper. That 40% sales drop is brutal. You don't celebrate that kind of decline. That's like showing up to work after losing your job and saying, well, at least I got dressed. Nintendo knows it, Game Freak knows it. They'll never admit it publicly, but behind the scenes, they're sweating like a Magikarp out of water. Because for the first time in years, the numbers aren't bulletproof. The cracks are forming, the slop era is catching up to them. And that's what gives me hope, just a tiny spark of it, because maybe, just maybe, fans are finally done being gaslit into believing this is okay. Maybe the sales dip is the first wake-up call, because I don't care how many Pikachu plushies you sell or how many nostalgia buttons you mash, eventually people get tired of being treated like walking wallets. So Game Freak Nintendo, listen up, you've got the money, you've got the legacy, you've got the most beloved creatures in pop culture, but you've also got zero excuses left. Stop blaming hardware limitations, stop pretending fans are too nostalgic to notice, stop hiding behind Metacritic scores and start giving gamers the quality they've been begging for since the DS era. You can do better, but you choose not to. Until then, don't be surprised when Pokemon Legends Z8 becomes the poster child for how to kill goodwill with minimal effort, because when your $70 sequel sells 40% worse than the last lazy one, you've officially run out of magic Pokédust to sprinkle on the same old formula. You can't just keep serving us cardboard castles and calling it world building. You can't keep charging full prices for games that look like they've escaped from the Wii U's graveyard. And to the players still defending this, listen, I get it. You love Pokemon, we all grew up with it, but loving something means holding it accountable when it goes off the rail. It means demanding better, not settling for less. Because if we keep pretending this is fine, Game Freak will keep giving us less every generation and calling it an evolution. Pokemon Legends ZA isn't just a bad game, it's a warning sign. A flashing red light telling us what happens when creativity gets replaced by complacency. And until fans starts pushing back, that 40% drop might just be the beginning of something Game Freak won't be able to patch out. So yeah, Nintendo, Game Freak, maybe next time instead of painting your windows on the wall, try looking through them. The view outside might just remind you what real Pokemon magic used to look like. And that's it for the video. If you truly enjoyed it, do me a favor and hit the like button, hit the hype button, share it around, and make sure you're subscribed. I post a long video every day, and I also go live Monday morning at 5 a.m. Pacific time, where I react to the saltiest fanboys around. And also, make sure you subscribe because I'm really trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I really need your help. If you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a member. It's only $1 a month. You'll get special badges, custom emotes, and of course your name shouted at the end of every video. And once that list gets too long, don't worry, I will turn it into a full-on credit roll so everybody gets their chance to shine. Also, don't forget to check out the merch if you want to rep the Vigilante Fire. And as always, until next time guys, stay vigilant. And now it's time to read off the members of the channel. We got Koros Objective, Maximilian Pegasus 88, Mad Fox 94, Dr. Downvote, Oh No is Justin, Brian Payne, Andy Ritz, J Wesby 65, C-Stars Piplup, Maximus 2400, Geezer Noob, Dustin 360, That PlayStation Gamer, Stephen Rammy, Matthew Buckley, Blue Moon, John Marr, Baron Grod, Kawabi Asari, It's Josephus, Gundam Huffle, Puff, Johnny B. Jones, Angel Black, The One and Only Groot, Female Goku, Powermad UK, Thomas Hopkins Jr., Alyssa D. Wallace, James Rowe, Mario 123, Kasaria, Shane's World, Renee, Dragon Knight Dragonborn, Twarny the Witch Lord, Vicious Jaybird, Crippled Gamer, and Blast 1314. Thank you so much for becoming part of the crew.
You can cry in the comments, but you won't survive. Like and subscribe if you feel that vibe. We're